Your testosterone isn't gone, it's blocked. Mix olive oil with this before bed and watch your mornings explode with power. Don't scroll. 99% miss the last step, and that's the one that unlocks everything. Silent decline. Think of your body not as a machine that suddenly rusts and breaks down after a certain number of years, but as a finely tuned orchestra. In your youth, every instrument played in perfect, effortless harmony. The violins of testosterone soared, the drums of your metabolism kept a powerful rhythm, and the woodwinds of your cognitive focus were sharp and clear. But as time passes, some instruments naturally begin to play a little softer. Testosterone, that lead violin, loses some of its vibrant resonance. At the same time, other instruments, like the blaring horns of the stress hormone cortisol or the droning bass of insulin resistance, start to play louder, overpowering the melody. The result isn't silence. It's dissonance. It's a chaotic, unbalanced sound that you feel deep in your bones as fatigue, brain fog, a loss of drive, a sense of being out of tune with yourself. This is the reality for so many men. The data shows that after the age of 30 or 40, testosterone declines on average about 1% per year. That sounds small, insignificant. But by the time you reach your 50s or 60s, that steady, quiet erosion means your hormonal output might be 20 or 30% lower than it was in your prime. This isn't a sudden collapse. It's a slow, creeping tide. And because it happens so gradually, you might blame it on work, on stress, on just being tired. You adapt to a lower state of being, accepting it as the new normal. But here is where the great misunderstanding begins. Many men assume that every unwelcome change, low energy, a weaker libido, a thickening waistline, is purely a numbers game, a simple deficit of testosterone. Others resign themselves to the idea that this is an irreversible part of aging, a fate to be endured. Neither perspective captures the whole truth. Your testosterone level is like the strength of a Wi-Fi signal. Yes, a strong signal is important, but just as crucial is the quality of the device receiving it. Your body has receptors, tiny docking stations in your cells that must receive the testosterone signal for it to have any effect. You could have a perfectly adequate level of testosterone on a lab report, but if those receptors are blocked by inflammation, if they are muffled by excess body fat, the signal never gets through. The message is sent, but no one is there to hear it. This is why a man's lifestyle, his sleep, his nutrition, his stress levels, his physical activity, is not a secondary factor. It is the entire environment in which the orchestra plays. Age doesn't determine the quality of the music. The conductor does, and you are the conductor. Every choice you make either helps to restore harmony or adds to the chaos. You have far more influence over this symphony than you have ever been led to believe. Liquid gold. Let's turn our attention to one specific ancient tool for restoring this harmony: olive oil. Why this one substance above so many others? Why has it been a cornerstone of vitality in Mediterranean cultures for thousands of years, places where men often live long, vigorous lives? The answer lies in its unique composition, a perfect marriage of raw materials and protective intelligence. Especially extra virgin olive oil, the purest form, is a treasure trove of two key elements: monounsaturated fats and powerful antioxidants called polyphenols. This isn't just folk wisdom, it's a reality confirmed in countless studies from the world's most respected institutions. To understand its power, let's revisit our metaphor of the orchestra. Imagine the factories that build the instruments. In your body, these are your testes and adrenal glands. These factories need two things to function perfectly: the right raw materials and a clean, well-maintained environment. The primary raw material for testosterone is cholesterol. Now, cholesterol has been unfairly demonized for decades, but it is the very building block from which your masculine hormones are forged. Your body is a brilliant alchemist, taking cholesterol and, through a series of intricate steps, transforming it into the hormone that fuels your drive, builds your muscle, and sharpens your mind. Olive oil provides a superior form of this raw material. Its healthy fats support the production of the right kind of cholesterol, the kind that serves as a clean, efficient fuel source for your hormonal factories, without clogging the supply lines of your arteries. It delivers the bricks without creating a traffic jam. But providing raw materials is only half the story. The machinery in those factories, the delicate Leydig cells in the testes where testosterone is born, is under constant assault from something called oxidative stress. Think of it as a form of biological rust caused by inflammation, poor diet, and environmental toxins. This rust corrodes the machinery, slowing down production and damaging the very cells responsible for your vitality. This is where the polyphenols in high-quality olive oil come in. They are not just passive compounds, they are active protectors. They are like a specialized maintenance crew that enters the factory each day, scrubbing away the rust, neutralizing the damaging free radicals, and protecting the delicate machinery from wear and tear. One clinical study found that men who consumed olive oil daily saw a significant increase in their testosterone levels compared to those who used other fats like butter. The oil was literally cleaning and fueling the factory at the same time. This is a profound concept. You are not just eating a food, you are ingesting a form of liquid intelligence that knows how to support the very systems that define your masculine energy. And its influence extends beyond just testosterone. Olive oil has a remarkable ability to improve your body's sensitivity to insulin. This is critical because insulin resistance is a silent saboteur of male hormones, a topic we will explore more deeply. It also has a powerful anti-inflammatory effect throughout the body. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is like constant static on a radio channel, distorting the hormonal signals and making it harder for your body to hear the music. The polyphenols in olive oil act like a sophisticated noise-canceling system, quieting the static so the pure, clear signal of testosterone can resonate with strength and clarity. When you choose to make high-quality olive oil a staple in your life, you are choosing to open the windows, clear the smoke, and polish the instruments of your inner orchestra. Nightly rhythm. Now we arrive at the heart of our question. Why before bed? Why does the timing of this simple ritual matter so much? The answer lies in understanding that your body is not a static entity. It operates on a series of profound and ancient rhythms, governed by the rising and setting of the sun. This is your circadian biology, an internal clock that dictates when hormones are released, when cells repair themselves, and when your mind is primed for rest. To ignore this rhythm is to constantly swim against the current. To work with it is to unlock a new level of efficiency and healing. Your hormones are not produced at a steady rate throughout the day. Testosterone, for instance, follows a very specific pattern. Its production naturally surges during the night, reaching its peak in the early morning hours, just as you awaken. This is why morning erections are a classic sign of healthy hormonal function. Your body is doing its most important hormonal work while you sleep. At the same time, other hormones like growth hormone also pulse during deep sleep, working to repair muscle tissue, balance your metabolism, and rejuvenate your entire system. The night is not a time of shutdown, it is a time of profound regeneration. When you consume a small, nutrient-dense meal before bed, you are not just filling your stomach. You are strategically providing your body with the precise tools it needs for this critical overnight construction project. Taking olive oil on its own provides healthy fats and antioxidants, which is already beneficial. But when you pair it with other specific foods, you create a powerful synergy, turning a simple habit into an intelligent, targeted intervention. This is where the wisdom of pairing comes into play. The olive oil acts as a perfect delivery vehicle for other key nutrients that support the testosterone production cycle. Consider mixing it with a source of zinc, like a small handful of pumpkin seeds. Zinc is an essential mineral for male hormonal health. It's a critical cog in the machinery that converts cholesterol into testosterone. Without enough zinc, the assembly line grinds to a halt. By pairing zinc-rich seeds with olive oil, you enhance the absorption of the mineral, ensuring it gets delivered to the hormonal factories right when they are ramping up for their night shift. The healthy fat in the oil slows down digestion just enough to allow for a steady, gradual release of these nutrients throughout the night, preventing any sharp spikes or crashes. Another powerful partner is a small amount of raw honey. For centuries, this combination has been used in traditional medicine as a tonic for male vitality. Modern science is beginning to understand why. Honey contains unique compounds and natural sugars that can help stabilize blood sugar overnight, preventing the cortisol spikes that often disrupt sleep and suppress hormone production. It provides a gentle source of fuel for your brain, allowing it to remain in the deeper, more restorative stages of sleep where the hormonal magic happens. Think of this nightly ritual as setting out the necessary supplies for a master craftsman before he begins his most important work. You are anticipating your body's needs, giving it the fuel, the minerals, and the protective compounds it requires to perform its vital, restorative tasks in the quiet, sacred hours of the night. Metabolic burden. We've talked about the hormonal factories and their raw materials, but there is another, larger force at play that can sabotage this entire process: your metabolic health. specifically the intertwined issues of insulin resistance and abdominal fat. This is a topic most men would rather ignore, but to do so is to leave the main gate of your hormonal fortress completely unguarded. Insulin resistance is a condition that becomes increasingly common as we age, and it is one of the most destructive forces against healthy testosterone levels. It's a silent process that slowly dismantles your vitality from the inside out. Let's use a simple metaphor. Insulin is like a key. Its job is to unlock the doors to your cells, allowing glucose, your body's main source of energy, to enter and be used as fuel. When you are healthy, this process is seamless. You eat a meal, glucose enters your bloodstream, insulin is released, the cell doors open, and the glucose is delivered. The system is balanced and efficient. But with insulin resistance, the locks on your cell doors become rusty and stiff. The key no longer turns easily. Your pancreas has to produce more and more insulin, essentially trying to force the doors open. Over time, this leads to chronically high levels of both glucose and insulin in your bloodstream. This state of metabolic chaos is a disaster for your hormones. It creates a cascade of negative effects. Firstly, high insulin levels promote fat storage, particularly around your abdomen. This isn't just a cosmetic issue. That belly fat you see is not dormant tissue. It is a hormonally active organ. It's like a rogue factory has been set up in your body, and its primary product is an enzyme called aromatase. The sole job of aromatase is to take your precious testosterone and convert it into estrogen. Every extra inch of fat around your waist is actively working to lower your testosterone and raise your estrogen, creating a hormonal imbalance that leaves you feeling tired, moody, and weak. It becomes a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle. Low testosterone makes it easier to gain fat, and more fat leads to even lower testosterone. You become trapped. This is why many experts now see low testosterone as both a cause and a consequence of poor metabolic health. You cannot fix one without addressing the other. So where does our nightly olive oil ritual fit in? It acts as a powerful regulator in this chaotic system. The healthy fats in olive oil help to slow down the absorption of carbohydrates from your diet, which means a slower, more gentle release of glucose into the bloodstream. This prevents the dramatic blood sugar spikes that force your pancreas to work overtime. The polyphenols in olive oil also have a direct protective effect on the pancreas itself, reducing the oxidative stress that can impair its function over time. Essentially, olive oil helps to oil the rusty locks on your cells. It improves the sensitivity of your cell receptors to insulin, so the key works again. The doors open with less effort, glucose enters the cells efficiently, and your body no longer needs to flood your system with excess insulin. Over time, this helps to break the vicious cycle. By improving insulin sensitivity, you reduce the signal for fat storage. As you begin to lose abdominal fat, you shut down the rogue estrogen factory. You are not just supporting testosterone production directly, you are dismantling the very system that was actively working to destroy it. Quiet repair. There is one final dimension to this nightly ritual that we must explore, one that is perhaps the most overlooked and yet the most critical: the relationship between sleep, stress, and your hormones. You can have the perfect diet and the perfect exercise routine, but if your sleep is compromised, you are fighting a losing battle. The night is when your body rebuilds, repairs, and rebalances. It is the foundation upon which your daytime vitality rests. And in our modern world, this foundation is crumbling for millions of men. We have already established that testosterone production surges during the deep restorative stages of sleep. Research has shown that just 1 week of restricted sleep can cause a young man's testosterone levels to plummet by as much as 15%. That is the equivalent of aging 10 to 15 years in just 7 days. Poor sleep is not just making you tired, it is artificially aging your endocrine system. At the same time, another hormone plays a crucial role in this nightly drama: cortisol. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone. It's not inherently bad. It's what helps you wake up in the morning and respond to challenges. Ideally, cortisol follows a natural rhythm, peaking in the morning to give you energy and then gradually tapering off throughout the day, reaching its lowest point at night to allow for deep sleep. However, for many men living in a state of chronic stress, work pressure, financial worries, constant digital stimulation, cortisol levels remain elevated well into the evening. This is a hormonal catastrophe. Cortisol and testosterone exist in an inverse relationship. They are on opposite ends of a seesaw. When cortisol is high, testosterone production is suppressed. Your body cannot be in a state of fight or flight and a state of rest and repair at the same time. It has to choose, and chronic stress forces it to choose survival over vitality every single time. This is where the psychological and physiological aspects of a nightly ritual become so powerful. The act of mixing your olive oil with a calming partner ingredient, like almonds for their magnesium or honey for its gentle effect on blood sugar, is more than just a nutritional strategy. It is a signal to your entire system. It is a deliberate act of downshifting. You are telling your body and your mind that the day is over, the battle is done, and it is now time for quiet repair. The healthy fats themselves help promote satiety, calming the hunger signals that can jolt you awake. Magnesium, found in nuts and seeds, is a natural muscle relaxant, and it supports the production of melatonin, the hormone that governs your sleep-wake cycle. Think of it this way: you are setting the stage for the nightly performance of your hormones. If the stage is flooded with the harsh, glaring spotlights of cortisol, and the background is filled with the noise of an anxious mind, the orchestra cannot play its restorative symphony. The simple ritual of preparing and consuming your small, nourishing mixture helps to dim those lights. It quiets the noise. It calms the nervous system and creates the internal environment of peace and safety that is a prerequisite for deep sleep and optimal hormone production. The anti-inflammatory polyphenols in the olive oil further this effect, soothing the stress pathways in the brain that can disrupt sleep. You are not just feeding your body, you are calming your entire being, creating the fertile darkness in which the seeds of vitality can sprout. Daily ritual. We have journeyed through the science, the metaphors, and the deep biological reasons behind this practice. Now we must translate this knowledge into a sustainable, real-world ritual. Because the true power lies not in doing this for one night, but in weaving it into the fabric of your life with consistency. Long-term health is not built on grand, heroic gestures. It is forged in the quiet repetition of small, intelligent habits. A single drop of rain does nothing, but over time, a steady drizzle can carve through stone. This is the mindset we must adopt. So, let's build this ritual together, step by step, as if you were sitting here with me. First, the foundation, your choice of olive oil. This is not the place to cut corners. You must choose a high-quality, extra virgin olive oil. Look for one that is cold-pressed and comes in a dark glass bottle, which protects its delicate polyphenols from light damage. The peppery, slightly bitter taste at the back of your throat is often a sign of high polyphenol content. This is your medicine, your fuel, and your protector. Treat it as such. Avoid the cheap, clear plastic bottles of blended oils. They lack the very compounds that make this practice effective. Second, choose your partners. The beauty of this ritual is its elegant simplicity. You do not need a complex recipe. If your primary goal is direct hormonal support, focus on zinc and magnesium. A small spoonful of raw pumpkin seeds or crushed almonds is perfect. If you find your sleep is restless or your mind is racing at night, a teaspoon of raw, unpasteurized honey can be wonderfully calming. If you feel you are battling chronic inflammation, achy joints, persistent fatigue, you might even add a tiny pinch of turmeric, activated with a speck of black pepper, to the mix. The key is to start simple and listen to your body. Third, the timing and the amount. This is not a late-night snack. It is a small medicinal dose of nourishment. 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil mixed with your chosen partner is all you need. Consume it about 30 to 60 minutes before you intend to go to sleep. This gives it time to begin its gentle work on your digestive and nervous systems without making you feel heavy or full. The goal is to arrive in bed feeling calm and settled, not stuffed. This small act becomes a clear boundary, a signal that marks the end of the day's consumption and the beginning of the night's fast and repair cycle. Fourth, create the container. The ritual is not just what you consume, it is the environment you create around it. This practice will be 100 times more effective if you pair it with good sleep hygiene. In the hour before bed, dim the lights in your home. Turn off the bright, stimulating screens of your phone, your tablet, your television. The blue light from these devices is a direct signal to your brain that it is still daytime, and it actively suppresses melatonin production. Instead, read a book, listen to calm music, stretch gently, speak with a loved one. Your nightly olive oil mixture is the anchor, but these environmental cues are the harbor that will allow your ship to rest safely through the night. Finally, observe and adapt. Your body is unique. Pay attention to the signals it sends you. How is your sleep quality? Do you wake up feeling more rested? What is your energy like the next day? Notice the subtle shifts in your mood, your focus, your physical drive. These are your data points. They tell you that the orchestra is slowly, surely finding its harmony again. This ritual is not a magic bullet. It is a conversation with your body. And like any good conversation, it requires you to speak with intention and then to listen with patience. Inner stillness. In the end, this journey is not just about testosterone. It is not just about muscle mass or libido or energy levels. Those are merely the outward signs. The deeper pursuit is for a feeling of alignment, of being at home in your own skin, of feeling that your inner world and your outer actions are in powerful, resonant harmony. The fatigue, the brain fog, the loss of vitality, these are symptoms of a profound disconnect, a sign that the music of your life has become dissonant. The world will offer you 1,000 loud, complicated, and expensive solutions to this problem. But true healing often begins with a quiet, simple, and consistent return to wisdom. You are not broken. You are not a machine in irreversible decline. Your body possesses a deep, innate intelligence and a powerful capacity for regeneration. It is always striving for balance. Your task is not to force it, to fight it, or to override its systems with harsh interventions. Your task is to create the conditions for it to do its own magnificent work. This simple nightly ritual is an act of trust. It is a humble offering of the right tools at the right time. It is a commitment to listen to the quiet rhythms that govern your life, rhythms that have been drowned out by the noise of the modern world. You have the power to turn down the volume on the chaos and tune into the timeless melody of your own vitality.